Hey, Lisa here. This is part two of my little two-part tutorial on making tattoo designs in Paint Tool Sai. Picking up where we left off last video, told you about the luminosity layer. If going over it once doesn't produce the results you want, you can paint over it several times and smudge it out until you're happy with it. Just don't overuse it because it's like looking into the sun. It kind of hurts the eyes a little bit. So, I'm going to fast forward through the rest of the highlighting here, and yes, I got more vampire trivia for you. So, here we go. So, when it was announced that Tom Cruise would portray Lestat in the film adaptation of Interview with a Vampire, Anne Rice stated that she thought he was a horrible choice. And she kept repeating this up until the premiere. After that, she admitted that she was wrong and that he did a great job. Now, Tom Cruise actually was a really good actor back in the day, but this was before he lost his shit and started hopping around on Oprah's couch like a rabbit in heat. Okay, now that we have the highlighting out of the way, time for the shading. Choose two colors that are basically darker versions of your base color. Keep in mind when you're shading not just the light source, but any variables like in this case, the banner. Now, you can blend it with the water tool the way I showed you in part 1, or you can use the blur tool. When I use blur, what I do is I bring the density down to, say, 40-something%, and make the brush at about a 50 pixel and work with it that way. Just lightly go over it. You don't want to overdo it. So, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the shading. You pretty much use your second darkest color in almost the exact same way, so shouldn't have to explain it. So, here's another little piece of vampire trivia for you. Dracula is actually Romanian for son of the dragon. His father was known as Dracul. If you need explanation, then you fail. This cross is actually the symbol for a group called the Order of the Dragon, a group that Vlad and his father were members of. This was a group that you really didn't want to piss off. One story states that a small Hungarian army that was en route to attack Vlad actually canceled the attack last minute because they saw what happened to their fallen comrades. All around the gate were the heads of Hungarian troops. Each one had a stake shoved through it. So I can't exactly blame the Hungarians for running back home with their tail between their legs, because I probably would have done the same thing if I saw that. Now, there is debate over who Bram Stoker based Dracula on. The two names that come up the most are, well, of course, Dracula, but also Elizabeth Bathory. She was known as the Blood Countess and was rumored to bathe in her victim's blood. Apparently, she thought it made her look younger or something. The exact number of victims is unknown, but it is believed that she killed at least 650 young women. So, yeah. She was a crazy bitch. Alright, well, we're about 75% done with this. So far, so good. Going to be shading in the inner part of the cross now. Basically, same as I've been showing you with the shading. Choose two different dark colors. Some people advise against using black. I use it on occasion. It's really all preference. Highlighting is going to be the same as it is on the red part, luminosity layer. I chose a very light gray color for that. So, once again, fast forwarding through. Okay, I have to cite my sources as far as the vampire trivia goes. I got everything from a book called The Vampire Book, the Encyclopedia of the Undead. It's by J. Gordon Milton. Came out in the early 2000s. I've heard rumors that it's out of print. I don't know. But I'm sure if you looked around on Amazon or something, you could probably find it. I actually got my copy at Goodwill for like $2. And this is pre-Twilight, so it's all real deal vampires. Even if you're not a huge vampire fan, it's still a really good read. Okay, so shading the outer corners now, fast forwarding through it, because I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing I've been doing. If you want to add a corner or not, it's up to you. If you want to have kind of a perspective look at it, there's lots of resources that can teach you how to draw in perspective. I personally hate it. I've done it a few times. I hate it. The only thing I hate more is drawing feet. So, got rid of the background because I'm done with it. We're almost done. What I did was, this is completely optional. I decided to add a bit of a shadow in the background. So I created a new layer below everything else. Took a dark gray color and I painted the shadow in with the water brush tool and smudged it out with the blur. Again, this is optional. You don't have to add a shadow if you don't want to. But I thought it would look good with it. So I'm also going to be adding some minor overall highlighting. Create a new layer up top, luminosity layer, yada yada yada. Just to make it look a little bit nicer, make it look more metallic, I guess. So, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Last thing I need to do is go in and go down to another bottom layer, fill in any little white areas. And here's the finished version. I really like how that came out. So, I think I'm going to put that to the side and maybe get it as an actual tattoo later on when I have the money. Anyway, that's the end of this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, like the video, comment. I love constructive criticism. Anything that can help me get better, just please, for the love of God, don't be a douchebag about it. If there's a tutorial you want to see made, feel free to ask. Commissions are open, taking requests. Here's my info for Facebook and Twitter if you want to follow me or like me. This is Lisa, and once again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.